screen as well, seeing very standard stuff across the board when it comes to the masteries that the players are going to be using as well. The fervor for both of the top laners getting extra damage going into this game. But what matchup will we really looking to see to make the impact for the early game?
We definitely need to keep an eye out on Elise. That's the main variable, I think, in this game. If he gets those early ganks, if he gets the early kills, he could really, really snowball Sector 1. But on the other end, the bot lane is also really going to be interesting because we have the Lucian Lulu. And if they can snowball that lane, it would be really fun to see.
And of course, the aggressive bot lanes, something that we would really love to see coming out from these guys. It's always a pleasure to take a look at a Lucian who's diving into a fight, getting lots of shots down, and then diving back out. It's so much fun to watch, and that's also enabled by the Lulu pick.
Definitely. And as I mentioned, it'll probably be just at the pushing lane on bot lane if mCon can make it. And we see on the top lane the first few hits, Renekton starting with a stun. What's first? He can just walk away, recall. It's more than enough time. But in the mid lane, we see 3 people from mCon creeping in the jungle, probably trying to place a ward, wanting to see where Elise starts and to really reduce the impact of Elise's early game.
And that invade could have been dangerous as well, but we have to bear in mind that when we're invading in with a Graves, there's not really much CC that could follow that up. Looks like the rest of Sector 1 are just going to be fanning out across the board. Looks like Elise and Renekton are just going to be taking a quick look to see where the Graves is going to be starting off this game. They've confirmed that he's going to be starting at Raptors, and Elise is just going to take her start to the top side instead.
Yeah, it's like the Graves does a normal start, especially Graves. He doesn't get any help, which is interesting. Talia could do a Q or an auto attack, but she decides to use her Threaded Volley for the mid lane wave, which is pretty normal as well, because you have that lane dominance in mid lane, and you want that early pushing power against Ahri.
Good to see what's going on in the bot lane as well. We do have the empowered Karma Q just to make sure the back line of the minions to cast a wave is going to be thinned out. So we've got the extra aggressive push coming out from Brinash and Stannies.
Yeah, definitely. It's what we said. Like they focus on that early push of power. They missed 2 minions, which is a little bit sad. You try to get a 100% creep score at least until like 10 minutes if you can, but hey, it will be all right. They're equal again.
Fizz winning out these trades in the top lane as well, managing to push the Renekton a little bit further back. Those corrupting potion stacks actually making a little bit extra difference in that lane, making sure that Fizz can push through, but still fairly standard across the board as no openings have yet to be found.
Yeah, and it's because Repo started with a stun at level 1, so he couldn't use his Call of the Mikus Q to really get the sustain back, and then Fizz got an early see level 2, and then you just have to play passive on top lane until you get a level 2 as well.
We do see the level 2
from Elise.
He's trying to get through there, manages to push the Graves off of that blue buff. We do have Renekton getting that level 2 in the top lane. Still the invade going into the bottom side, just trades across the board. Talia is going to be stopped from coming over to there by S1 Knight on that Ahri in the mid lane. As we've got now more trades going on there. Trades in the top lane. We're seeing action everywhere as Bwipo does get the better of Fizz for that one moment. In the mid lane, though, Seb's just pushing forward. Not going to use that flash. Flash used from Ahri, however, to make sure that she doesn't die in that trade.
Wow, that was really close. And it shows the early power of Talia. If she can land her Q and just keep on hitting Knight again and again. And as well, this Knight was, because he had to push back against Sebs, he was out of mana, so he couldn't do much. But we see again an invade from Bruder, and they're really aggressive.
Trying to get that stun, just misses out on the cocoon, but we've got Forsaken pushing forward, trying to get the Q to go through. Talia has responded first, however. E coming down, and that will be Graves coming over the top lane. First blood going over to Donny. Peter Post now being forced to back out. S1 Knight trying to get in, back up the teammate. Peter Post trying to get what he can. That Seb's going down in a 1-for-1 trade.
And we see overall the teleport from Renekton. People is behind. He's trying to get over the wall. Can he find something? He goes on Caitlyn.
No slice, there's the slice, no dice coming through, there it is, and the stun not going to be landing just yet, as that's the Call to Meek to get the extra bit of health back. No extras found, and a teleport expended there. We did see Fizz used his teleport to get back to the top lane, though.
Yes. He's right now freezing the wave, so Repo is going to lose a lot. It was a really interesting fight. It was really, you saw Bruder missing twice his cocoon, so that really changed. If he could land that cocoon on Karma at the start, it could really have turned that fight around for Sector 1, but now they went in a little bit too deep. You saw Seps had the pushing power in mid lane, so he could come earlier, and he killed Forsaken, who was just a little bit too late on his flash. But overall, it's pretty equal right now because mCon also overstayed their welcome and died by a knight coming back on Ahri and killing Talia.
And overall, the 1-for-1 trade, all of those summoner spells being used just for the one for one. Of course, we're seeing the gold. Well, the gold is completely even at the second, 7.4 to 7.4.
Yes, and you see that Elise has a small lead in the jungle right now. He's like, yes, but it's only 100 gold. Like the CS score always is like, it makes it, because of the golems right now, you have all the small ones, and it seems like you have a huge lead, and it's just 100 gold. So it isn't that much. But you see him buying the Boots of Mobility. He really wants to focus on those early game ganks.
And the mobility will probably be making the difference very soon. We do see Elise now getting the back in, coming up the mid lane, not trying to find anything just yet, but the trades in the top lane is Buipo and Dan just trying to find what they can on one another. Calder Meek is going to even out that trade, and Dan just forced to go back a little bit further. But from what we're seeing at the second, oh, there's the gank in the mid lane. Sebs now is going to be just narrowly dodging that Q. Sebs does go down. S1 Knight with the REQ just managed to get that fantastic play from the mid lane.
Yeah. They even missed a cocoon, they missed a charm, but it doesn't matter. The Ahri jumps are just too much for Sebs to work through. And this was even though Dan had a really good board, you can still see it in the topside jungle of Sector 1. So normally it would really show where Bruder is, because he went bottom lane, right? He went to bottom jungle and then he recalls. So now he should start at his Gromp, but he is not at his Gromp. So that should tell Sebs that he's going to gank. But Sebs just barely didn't pay enough attention, the flash was not enough, and he still died.
We are down in the bot lane at the second, however, and we do have Lucian just getting a small bit of a CS lead at the second. He does have the Vampiric Scepter, so we do know that he's going to be going over to the Blade of the Ruined King next.
Yeah, it's normal build. Like Tabs was tweeting about it this afternoon, that the standard build for Lucian is Blade into Black Cleaver into PD. And it's the same for Xayah, he said. So it's interesting to see if we see Xayah today, if they go the same Lucian build as Konyo is going now.
Looking at the rest of the builds, we do have fairly standard builds across the board as well. Ahri getting that Hextech Revolver in very early into the Talia matchup. What do we expect to see coming out of her next?
She buys some magic resist, so that's also kind of normal against the pushing lane. But probably Hextech on Blade Finish will be the normal start. But Graves, meanwhile, is stealing the red buff from Elise, but Bruder is doing the exact same thing on the opposite side of the map.
This was a matchup. We did expect there to be quite a lot of, just a very even matchup overall. Both junglers taking very similar paths. We did see that mid lane and top lane were pushed up, so Elise is able to get herself into the red buff. Bot lane pushed up for the red side at the second as well, making sure that Graves has a very safe clear on that red buff. Standard play across the board and really beautifully executed.
Definitely. They're both really smart junglers, so they see which side of the map is their strong side. As you mentioned, Sector 1 side right now is Renekton is pushing in, Ahri is pushing in, while on mCon side the bot lane is pushing in, so you play around those lanes. You know where the enemy jungler is because Bruder just ganked mid lane, he got a kill. So you can really play around it, and because you know where the enemy jungler is, you go to the opposite side of the map.
Both teams now just making sure that the action is quieted down. Only a 500 gold lead in favor of Sector 1 at the second. What can we be expecting to see to really blow this game open, though?
Right now, maybe a Graves gank on top lane, though I don't think it will work. You have to Renekton with his ultimate, so it's really hard to gank a Renekton on top lane. Big
Wave is going to be slightly thinned out by Buipo, just possibly quite aware that this could be happening. We do see Elise also coming up there. That's going to be the fish ult coming down. Dan is going to be using the playful trickster. Comes back down. Bwipo just barely misses out. Talia does get herself into the action. Sebs picking off a kill. Bot lane Konyo using the ultimate from the Lucian, trying to find some extra damage in there, but Caitlyn and Karma have managed to get themselves out. Beautiful play from top lane and jungler and even the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely really smart by Sebs. He knew Knight was recalling, he was buying his items, and then with Talia you can be top lane so very quickly. So even though he gets pushed in, he waits. They wait with the play until Sebs has the upper hand in mid lane, and then they execute the play, which is really smart. And they also have the better vision control. They had 2 control wards in the top side jungle, which Bruder is going to clear one of them now. They had vision on the bottom side jungle of Sector 1, so they really knew where Bruder was going to be.
Very good to see Chum the Waters being used just for that extra bit of CC as well. Looking at Fizz's build at the second vote, we usually see the Sheen start come through first, but we're seeing a Phage. Is there any particular reason for that?
I expect because he has a little bit of a difficulty in this lane, so he wants the extra health. Like it gives 200 health, so you're a little bit more safe. And because of that, you can trade a little bit more easily, and you can avoid the ganks, which we see right now.
Peter Post trying to come up. That's going to be a nice playful and trickster just to dodge out from the cocoon. Does give the Renekton the push, however, as Elise is just going to retreat back, clear that ward, go back into the jungle. Still waiting for a play to be made, however.
Was really smart play by Bruder, using his Q, his neurotoxin first, to pretend it's your cocoon. But meanwhile in mid lane,
Donny is just gonna be caught, and that will be the ignite. Just gonna take him down. Last tick of the ignite there as well.
Yeah, great charm. But as I was saying, Elise, he first uses his Q to bait that it is the cocoon, and you see then using his ball to playful trickster out, and then the cocoon can hit afterwards. But it was already too late. People was turning back. And on mid lane, Knight is really carrying this game. He's 3-0 right now. He hasn't played competitively for a long time now, but he's showing he still got it.
Definitely does. We do see Fizz having the lead in the top lane, minions wise. 105 to 83, so 23 CS lead at the second. Also, Graves managing to pull more farm out than the Elise, and managing to find himself at more spaces on the map as well.
Yeah. Like the top lane is probably because Bwipo uses teleport to go bot lane and to get a return kill on Graves. So that's a trade-off he makes. Bwipo is really a top lane that is really good on the teleport. He's always the first one to teleport. He's really quick on the reaction with it. Really great communication. So he's happy to give 10-15 CS up just to get an edge as a team.
Another thing that we did see there as well, we saw Elise of Peter Post just managing to pick up the Mountain Drake. Going to be giving these guys that extra advantage when it does come to taking these neutral objectives later on into the game. Trades are coming out across the board at the second. We did see Ari also drop to half health after managing to get another charm, but Sebs managing to outplay these. Peter Post now is going to be going into MB Donny. Looks like he's going to be using that repel. This is going to be Bwipo coming down as well. He's got the W prime. He's going to try and find himself in. Peter Post finishes off that kill. Bwipo still looking for more. S1 Knight catching the ult, trying to find what he can on Sebs. That's not going to be a charm coming through. And Peter Post going dangerously low as one more threaded volley could have finished that. Dan coming into the mid lane, however, does miss the Chum the Waters and still fights in the bot lane. That's going to be a culling going down onto Stunnies of Karma as well. But still, one kill going over to the Elise here.
Yeah, definitely a good start. You see the early game strength of Elise, especially if you can catch someone out. And Knight went in, but he has 50 mana and your charm costs 85. So if he could have landed a charm, maybe could have done something. But Sebs has a clan, so it's really difficult to really pick him off. And what we should probably see now is just a calmer game. Elise is going to give the blue buff away to Ari probably. Graves just picking up his red buff. People buying their items, and it will be interesting to see if Sector 1 is going to invade the enemy topside jungle, because they have the green jungle item, so they have the few additional wards they can place in the enemy jungle. And with that, because they have a pushing top lane and a pushing mid lane, they should be able to make plays around the top side of the map right now.
Looks like the top lane has just been pushed in, so we're going to be waiting to see what does happen next. Bot lane does seem to be quite even at the second. We do see Lucian reaching that Blade of the Ruined King at breakpoint. Seal, one more trade coming in. Peter Post is on the receiving end of this now, but who's ganking who? Is S1 Knight coming into this as well? Donnie trying to find anything extra onto Lulu, who flashes out just in time. Peter Post looking for something. Seb's pushing forward. Konyo coming in as well. There's the Q, there's the E, there's the double tap, and this will... Talia getting a kill. That's Lucian getting 2 for himself. 2-for-1 trade overall, as Talia's going to use that wall to safety.
Wow, what a crazy fight, and it's still not over.
It's still going. Dan trying to find something, but misses the shark.
Wow. And you saw Bwipo in the fight. You saw Bwipo going in first and walking down, so he didn't have to use his teleport, so he can still use it to go top lane. But meanwhile, they do get a mid lane turret. They probably get it first, but it's really close range with Caitlyn. They just about have it first.
That Mountain Drake also probably doing a little bit of work to make sure that they get that a little bit quicker. Dan gonna get caught by the stun, however, he doesn't have the E up, and available Konyo just getting out of that by using a heal for himself. 7-3 on the board as Sector 1 really seem to be taking over this game now.
Definitely. You see the aggression from mCon, but it's not something they necessarily need to do with their composition. They have the Caitlyn, they have the Graves late game. They don't need to be so aggressive. And you see that Sector 1 is just a little bit faster at the collapse. You see Konyo being in the fight while Bernash is pushing mid lane. You see Bwipo walking down, while Dan has to teleport there. And because they're just a little bit faster there, they can turn the fights around even though they get collapsed on.
And it does look like everything is starting to reset now. Following that back, we did see Lucian go back with 130 CS and 3 kills to his name. He picks up 2 ruby crystals alongside the armor boots as well. The ninja tab is going to be doing a bit of work for him. But what are those health crystals going to be going in for here?
For the Black Cleaver. It's
Oh,
like
Dan.
Ooh,
Oh, he gets away.
nothing.
Carry on. There we go, Black Cleaver.
Yeah, there's nothing to see there. It's a fist. You can just walk away all the time. And you see the normal rotation from mCon. They switch their bot lane to top side when you've got the bot lane turret down. And it's interesting to see that Sector 1 decides not to follow that lane swap. Because especially with the 3 kills on Lucian now, I think they could focus on the top lane and win the 2v2.
Very different to see the Black Cleaver still coming out, but obviously if they do have the extra leads and they manage to make it work, that'll be fantastic to see as this Lucian has started to get going. Gunblade now also coming out for the Ahri, so we could be seeing some split pushing play coming in from her as well.
Yeah, you see that they focus heavily on the bot side of the map right now. They will take this turret and then probably translate it into a dragon. But it also means that they have to give up the top side of the map. Caitlyn and Karm will get a turret. Graves will... Ooh, they don't have the blue buff on their side, so Graves won't get a blue buff, while Elise has managed to steal it. So that's a blow to Talia without the blue buff.
Of course, we did see the Ivern getting banned out earlier, so there's not going to be any of the double blue buff per team coming out, which I'm quite happy to see, to be honest. The Ivern does start to take over these games quite heavily, as we are just, I am at least experiencing a little bit of lag, so I'm a little bit behind you, but Chum the Waters did just come out there as well.
Yeah, right now they're both trying to push as quickly as possible. They both get the second turret, but this provides opportunity for Sector 1 to get the dragon. You see the ping is going down on mid lane, but the wave is still so far away, so I don't think they will manage to get that mid lane turret, even though they tried to go for it. And what you see is both jungles are completely warded, and it's really interesting to see that they use all those control and normal wards on those positions. And I do feel like that Sector 1 has just got about the better end of the trade with those wards, because the control wards will be cleared out by Ahri right now, and then it will be really difficult for mCon to really see what Sector 1 is doing. Well, Sector 1 will still have all the vision for the coming 2 to 3 minutes.
And taking a look at the setups that we do have as well, pink wards coming out from both sides. More vision that can just be coming down. Looks like we're just going to get the next reset coming in. Even though we do have such a large kill disparity and 2 dragons going over to Sector 1, we do only have 1,000 gold advantage for them at the second.
Yeah, it's not that much, and it's something that mCon should be happy about, because if the lead remains 1000, it's nothing. And it definitely provides them with the opportunity to stall out the game. And with Renekton now in the bot side, I would think that Sector 1 is going to try and focus on the top side of the map, place the vision there, replace it from the bot side to the top side, and they might go for an early Baron play.
Definitely a possibility. Baron is coming up. We do have Renekton still split pushing that bot lane, whilst Ahri is going to be making a start on that top lane turret as well. Already got it down to half health, but we do have the side of mCon Logitech G just starting to come up. This is going to be Forsaken, actually caught out with the Chum the Waters, and this will be one more culling coming through. Ponyo's looking in for position as Guipo is in the middle of everyone at the second. Seb's going to get ignited, forced all the way out. Knight's now looking for an edge to get in, but nobody is dying here.
That was so close. That's the power of Lulu. You can just speed yourself away, shield yourself, ult yourself to give yourself 300 plus health again. But it is not over probably, because Knight is really looking for that pick.
Oh, Peterbot is going to be going in onto Dandan, but Dandan taking him a little by surprise there. Triforce is complete. Peter's post looking for it. That's going to be the cue for the finish. Knight going to be taking and trading out the fish, however. Just a 1-for-1, and we didn't even see it in the team fights.
No, it is like the pick potential of these champions. It's great, especially from Sector 1. But they do manage to get the pushing power, and Guipo is going in again.
Maybe a little two-hand from Guipo there, as it's going to be Caitlyn taking him down. But we did see Karma also falling in that engagement. Lulu going to speed the rest of the team out, as it looks like mCon are trying to find themselves an advantage. Knight just barely missing that charm, however.
I think it's really good play from Sector 1, because they want to finish the game as soon as possible, right? They have the Ahri, they have the Renekton, they have the Elise. They really want to use their power spikes right now. You see Ahri almost finishing the Lich Bane. Lucian right now has the Black Cleaver, has the Blade Ruined King, the Black Cleaver finish for Renekton. So they are really, really strong right now. So they want to get all the turrets down, at least all the outer turrets down. And then they can choke all the vision from mCon. And then they can make the Baron play.
Baron is, of course, a possibility at the second. I did see the grey text come up on my screen to say that Rift Herald had returned to the Void. Got slightly confused for a moment there. But as we're going to be looking at this reset again, Fizz just pushing in top lane. We've got a very big wave accumulating in the bot lane. So it looks like we're going to be seeing Renekton go down to pick that up and continue the push for Sector 1. Trying to vie for position is both teams at the second.
Yeah, it's a result of the pushing power and then the teleport to the team fight of Guipo. He was at the inhibitor turret 2 minutes ago when the fight started, and then he had to teleport to the top lane, and then the wave is automatically pushing back. And you see Elise just going in. Did he steal the blue buff? No, he did not. Graves did smite the blue buff away, but again, Talia, Sebs needs to be is so annoyed right now. Twice his blue buff has been stolen away right now.
Gotta feel for the poor guy. He does have the Morellonomicon available to him. 5 stacks also available to him on the Dark Seal, giving him a grand total of 30 ability power coming out of that one item. Very effective at the second.
Yeah, definitely. He'll first sell his Doran Spring and then his Dark Seal, but something I'm really happy to see is all the control wards in the inventories. We right now have a lot of players buying those items. I used to coach some teams, and you always have to focus on the controllers because players just don't like to buy those. And it's really great to see both teams putting such an emphasis on them.
Definitely the case. Both teams realizing that they do need to play the team game, let's say, as this is nowhere near the solo queue fashion that I'm quite used to, being a silver scrub myself. And we do have the mid lane starting to push in now. Do love to hear that Talia sound come out, as she is going to get a lot of damage down onto Elise. Culling coming out to try and cover off the rest of the angles. Dandan taken seriously low up in the top lane. Taking a look at Dandan's build at the second, looks like he's going to be going for the Blade of the Ruined King as well. Not something I'm used to seeing, at least.
Definitely looking for the split push, but mCon is getting heavily out split pushed by Sector 1. They have Renekton in the bot lane, Ahri in the top lane, and This way they have complete control over the map. They steal the red buff. They are in prime position to go for the third mountain dragon of the game. And they just take out all the turrets. It's a really clean, like almost school book game of Sector 1, at least the last 5 minutes. You put a split push champion on top lane, one on the bot lane, you ward the jungle so they can't get ganked, you get 3 men in mid lane, which you push as well, and what is mCon supposed to do?
As you did mention earlier, Baron is probably going to be Sector 1's next possible period of engage. So they've got those 3 mountain drakes. That's going to be a lot of extra damage coming into this fight as well. An extra 30% of damage onto epic monsters and neutral objectives. So very easy to take that down. And they will have the team compositions to do that as well.
Yeah, definitely. They have a lot of Baron damage, and you see Lucian almost at three items right now. Ari is probably going to recall with 2,000 gold in the pocket. And I think when they've recalled, they will really set up the split push again, go for the 1-3-1, try to collapse on the mid lane turret while getting the vision in the bot and topside jungle. And from there, see if you win the fight convincingly enough to either get an inhibitor or go for the Baron.
And it looks like that's where they're going to be going now, as Peter Post going to be clearing some vision on the top side of the river. Looks like he's going to place some down for himself as well, just finding that ward at the back of the Baron pit. Lucian just missing out on that side lane ward, as it looks like Seb's going to be clearing out some vision of his own as well. But both teams are very aware of the potential players. SS Knight jumps into Stannies. Oh my goodness, that was a pop and a half as Peter Post going in for the next hit. But that is going to be one pick, one and done. And what are they going to do now?
Yeah, they're definitely going to take complete control of the topside jungle of mCon. mCon is not safe anymore in their own jungle, and they're looking to hover around the Baron, but it is really dangerous to do right now, because this is a really great way for mCon to get into the game if they manage to get the Baron seal.
See if they do manage to do it. Looks like Sector 1 now starting to pull off of that Baron. That's going to be the culling used for the extra zone, but Bwepo is in the top, and he is going ham onto Donny. Looks like Donny having to kite his own way out. Ari getting the kill down, and that will be Bwepo with a second of his own. This has got to be Baron for Sector 1 here.
Yeah, that was a great play by Sector 1. It was not the Baron finish, it was just a Baron bait. They kept the Baron around 3,000, and when the Baron was 3,000 health, they just turned, and they turned hard. They're killing Graves, kill Fizz, and now you see Karma and Caitlyn trying to get back and maybe a Miracle Seal, but no, they can't. They can't do it.
And just away, and again, Knight looking for extra, but he doesn't manage to find it. Bwepo going in, that's going to be the third part of the Ari going down in with the ult. Bwepo looking for extra, but nothing found. Seb's going to be caught with the charm, and that's going to be another kill for S1 Knight. And the Baron take on as well.
You saw that mCon in the laning phase, they could really go toe-to-toe with Sector 1. But after the laning phase, and you see that Sector 1 has the experience, the team play, to really show that they are the better team right now. And they set up a really great 1-3-1. They get the picks when they need to. They have a perfect Baron play, and they're right now 8,000 gold ahead, and it's going to be really difficult for mCon. They have a great scaling comp, but it might be too much.
I did ask you earlier what could be the next objective to blow this game open. I asked you that question when it was 1,000 gold as Bwepo going in the bot lane again. Dan going to be on the receiving end of a Crocodile. Crocodile versus Fish. Fish comes down. Bwepo is going to be zoned off. That is an ult forced out as Forsaken and Konyo coming in for this, and that's going to be the kill, as it looks like we're still in a dodgy situation. Culling used for the kite here. That's going to be Peter Post going forward, making sure that the Lucian is in a good position, but this will be another simple pick coming out for Sector 1, and ult forced out of mCon Logitech G.
And it was just a 4v5. You saw Graves recalling because they didn't want to take any part of this fight, and they take an inhibitor on the bot side, they take an inhibitor at the top side, and yeah, mCon, they can't do anything. They can't even fight 5v4, and if you can't fight 5v4 anymore, it's basically over.
And that's going to be the second inhibitor going down as well. Only one inhibitor left But if we do see the triple inhibitor, we could be seeing mCon in a very precarious situation, having those double supers coming in to every wave.
Yeah, definitely. And you see Knight even stealing the red buff with his auto attack build with Lichbane and Hextech Gunblade. The red buff is even useful on him, even though you wouldn't really say that like a season ago on Ari. Really strange build change. Like with the Hextech Gunblade changes, it really has become a really strong mid lane item. And they just casually walk into mid lane with the 4 of them. Repo can tank everything. It's just no damage with the shields. Literally no damage.
We're not late enough in the game for Renekton to start falling off as well, and Elise is still spiking in terms of items. We do have the Aegis coming out from her as well, so they're going to be providing more shields as soon as the item is fully complete into the locket there. But that is the 3 inhibs, and this is all but over now.
Yeah, you see that mCon is trying their hardest to come back. Maybe they can get a pick with Italia. Shove basically and try to get someone in. You have the fist pick, but he goes in at least.
Here it is, the fight's going to be starting, could be the last one of the game as Conjo is going to be opening this fight up with the first pick. Bwipo takes down Donny, and that is Ari getting a kill of her own. Stannies and Sebs on the receiving end of this Ignite does go down. Stannies manages to get back in, but that is 4 kills and only a support left alive.
Wow, that's a really strong showing from Sector 1. They're even diving the fountain, but Stannies just about survives. At least a little bit of a KDA left for him. Also really solid game for Sector 1. It's something they historically struggled in the ESL Benelux. In the both previous seasons they lost their first game. And they wanted to show that in Season 3 they can start strong, and they are one of the top contenders for this tournament.
If we take a quick look at the graphs as well.